I was gonna ask, do you think Damien had more chemistry with any of the girls because you read the script and you said you haven't played through it? What
Well,
the?
when I was voice acting, I did kind of like the some of the other ones. Okay, guilty pleasure. I had so much fun. Okay, so I don't think it's like a spoiler at all. For people who don't know, and chances are you don't know, there is a voice line where Damien is rejecting the player, and I loved voice acting that. That was so much fun. And in a different game, different Ultimate game, my character killed the player. I don't know why. I just get. It's my favorite part about all of this.
So, people kept telling me like they hate the idea of getting rejected. Um, what are your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people were against me adding the reject feature or getting rejected because they're like, how am I gonna go through all the game just to reject or get rejected? But I was just like, but that's sometimes reality. So, like, and you said you love voicing it. So, like, what is your take on that?
Well, whether or not I like voicing it, I can concur that from a gameplay perspective, in terms of the time they've invested, maybe some players are not all that good at romancing people either. I know that when I played Dragon Age Origins, I would talk to all the camp followers. And Dragon Age Origins is very much, it's an older game, but it's very much like Baldur's Gate 3 now. Um, I would talk to all the camp followers, and I would save load, save load, save load in order to get all the correct best options. I know what it feels like to try and solve it like a puzzle, and at the same time, it's also brutal if you go through a game and then it ends up with a bad ending, and then you feel like your time is wasted. Um, I feel like this can be circumvented through just clever game design, however. Um, the life does have rejections. That's absolutely true. Um, but it's more a question, I think, of how do you want the player to experience their ending, their story, versus exploring the other endings, like the different possibilities and possible results. I think that it's good to have the option of getting rejected, as long as there is a good way for the player to still get a satisfying finality to the time they put into the game.
Yeah, like in this one, it's not like, oh, like you suddenly just have no way of getting the right route. It's like you literally get to choose like which ending you want. So like, it's not like, oh, I picked all the wrong choices. Like what the turd? But like, it's just like I can understand the frustration. It's like I got the wrong what the turd? But like if you had the option.
It doesn't take that long either. Then doing a little bit of replay, that's
Yeah.
also just totally fine. Just jumping back some scenes and then trying a different stuff. I think all of that is fine, and I think it's good if the players work for it.
Mm. Um, what I was gonna say was that with the do you think Damon would be a good match with either Serenity or Layla?
I am terrible with names. I remember the lines that I was recording with the different ones.
So Serenity's the sports girl with the influencer background. They went to high school together, and Layla is the superpowered chick. Do you think either would suit Damon?
Well, that's the thing. Like when I was recording, like lines and whatever, and when I was like looking over a lot of the dialogues, I was reading the lines with the names that I've since forgotten. So I cannot really give a satisfying answer to that until I've dove a little more into it. If I remember correctly, I do think that the second gal that you No, actually no. The first gal that you just mentioned was actually like compatible, if I remember correctly. But I'm sure somebody else has a more clever answer to this.
Okay. They're color coded. So Serenity's the green one, Layla's the purple one. Are you referring to the purple or the green one? Did you forget the colors too?
I think I have better answers for different questions.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, there was a crazy idea that happened during development with Davian's Fast, that we decided not to do, for certain reasons. How do you think you would have felt, or do you think it would have a negative impact if we saw Damien kill someone on screen?
I think it would have had a positive impact.
You think so?
Yeah, it would also be a hell of a fun to voice act. I also think that it really works with what you wanted to convey, like making him, you know, work as a character with depth and with like a serious tone to things. Now this goes a little bit into like spoiler territory, but like he has a bit of like a heavy past and whatnot. And sometimes, as they say, you have to shoot a hostage. Sometimes you have to like make a small sacrifice. For example, tarnishing Damien's good image with the fact that he has killed someone. I think that that's just a good thing to include, and for some people they're into that. So you know, you win-win.
Okay. Yeah, someone was against the idea of him killing someone. They're like, that would kill the Otome experience. So especially because it was a college campus, so it's just like we decided not to because it was just our first game. But I was just like,
angst is such a big thing, and I feel like killing people just slots in perfectly there. But I haven't really played a lot of Otome games, so I feel like especially just teenagers and young adults really appreciate that kind of stuff. And I mean, nobody does angst like people between the age of 14 and 18.
There's this one route where Layla kind of flirts with Damien. Do you think he likes the attention, as people usually think he's the playboy?
I think he likes the attention, not for playboy reasons. Mostly just because, okay, I can say this from like the character itself. I know this for a fact. He kind of wonders what could have been. He doesn't understand love. He doesn't understand relationships. And here, somebody is flirting with him, and he is flirting with the idea of like being more of a normal guy. So absolutely, this has like a very important effect on him.
Dang, that just kind of makes me think like maybe Damien and Layla are meant to be instead, like low key, because like he's in a dangerous field. Layla's super strong; she could handle it. Compared to our, oh my goodness, do I have to change the story?
Yeah.
But like,
she can protect him. He has vulnerable heart. His heart is like in tatters, but she can hold it. She got strong hands.
But the twins. What about the twins?
I think their chemistry could be very good. Like these two characters going together, I think it would be a big barrel of fun.
That's why I like really wanted to have their route more expanded on, but we couldn't get it expanded. So like that's why I'm like, when you said that, I was just like, cause it was kind of like a spur moment thing. I was just like, but like low key when I wrote that, I was just like, you know what? Because I low key thought Layla and Silver kind of made sense, because Silver was like, Layla kind of makes sense with everyone. Not gonna lie, like. For some reason, she just kind of gets it on with any of the guys. Like, she just kind of, I don't know, maybe she's a succubus or something, because she just could get it. But
well, maybe I do like the idea of characters like getting together if they are not the targets of the player. And sometimes people really like storylines that go adjacent to the main story, and sometimes people cannot stand it. So it's really hit or miss. It's so difficult to apply love stories that doesn't center on the player, especially because some players are very self-centered, and they will not they will not appreciate other people's love stories. So it could be good. I think it will be very hit or miss.
yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you with the friendship route, that a lot of people actually didn't like the fact that the female route was developed main, because they just wanted the romance to happen. So I'm not.
Think about it. Other games have like a lot of love interests that all focus on the main character.
Yeah.
For a very good reason, because then it's all about the player. And these characters are not like real people, so it doesn't have a lot of like consequences if you're kind of flirting at the idea between two characters. And polygamy is a big thing in these games. Like even with like players who would not really consider it in real life, but it just kind of works in here because you can just like fly around the fantasy of getting to sample all the cookies at the same time, and it doesn't have negative consequences, and there's something nice about that. So I think that maybe the best outcome would probably be to not lean too heavily on like shipping romances that are not like tied to the main character. Maybe like comics that could have been like a little bit of like what if.
A what if scenario.
Yeah, what if these two characters got together? Stuff like that. That's a lot of fun. I do agree, it kind of like takes away from Aria.
But you don't think it's better to try to create your own thing rather than to stick to the genre?
I very much appreciate when people experiment. If you do it well, then you don't need to lean on the quote-unquote correct best choice. You don't need to lean on the meta, because your end result will be so good anyways. And even if you're not trying to make the best thing, you're just trying to make your thing, you should still try it if you really feel like you should. There's nothing bad in that, and in fact, you might stumble upon greatness. And especially like at this stage right now, this wasn't about to like hit Broadway by any means. Like we're all just like trying to make the best we can, and then we learn from our mistakes, and then we do better next time and next time and next time. So in that sense, I don't mind at all whether people are trying to be experimental, because I am honestly really interested in seeing the consequences and what you learn from it.
Yeah, no, low key though, just thinking about the what if scenario of Damien and Layla is kind of hidden though. Like that's kind of hidden. Make Aria's choice what if. My final question for the Damien specific questions was, if Damien had a kid, a boy specifically, what do you think he would name it? I thought that was gonna be a pretty simple question. I guess you didn't really read the script.
I'm kind of like thinking of just like going with a funny Batman direction. The different Robins and what names they had. You had Damien, you had Dick, you had Oh, God, and actually, I'm sorry to like forget. Maybe just Bruce. So probably something rather quite ordinary. I think Jack.
I mean, it would be ordinary, but it would be named after a color, you know, of his best friend from his backstory. I thought that was a pretty.
Yeah, no, it's been a while since I got into this one.
Oh,
Now that
my.
you mention it, yeah, of course. The guy that perished, very emotional. I had forgotten a little bit about Altered. Yep, no, that would make sense.
But
Yep, naming him as best old buddy, old pal.
if Damien did have kids, do you think he would more be so like a daddy's boy or daddy's, like, you know, he would be like more affectionate to a boy or a girl?
It's entirely possible that Damien would struggle on, like, I think once he becomes a father, that would be like a whole other beast, and he would not be a natural fit, and he would have to like work it as he goes, and there would be like bumps and problems. I think the kid would end out well, but I kind of feel like it would be a little bit like Lloyd Forger, except that Damien would be trying with a bit more earnest. That, you know, it's not a mission. Damien would go out there with the intention of being like a good dad, but I don't think that he necessarily knows what it takes to construct a good childhood.
So I'm just kind of thinking we just have Damien as a it's just like Damien Spy X Family edition. Adopt Damien, the Blackwood family. Imagine Layla and Damien. It's a spy Amazon woman.
Oh my god, yeah, Layla just dressed up in yours dress, just kicking ass. We're just segueing into creating a Spy X Family.
Exactly. It would still sell too. They were like, "This is a knockoff, but I'll still read it." The villain.
Now it's just gonna be like firing their own mesmer.
And then the villainess would be Aria's child.
I love it when a player character becomes the villain.
Exactly.
Or Aria would just be like a wine ant. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's just like they're like, how did this happen? It's like, this is not my character. They get so mad, kind of like when people play Final Fantasy and then they play Final Fantasy X-2. They're like, what the turn happened? They're like, this is not Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X-2, Final Fantasy X-3. They're like, what is this audiobook? They're like, this is not my Final Fantasy X.
Along the journey and your own like headcanons and fantasies are not playing out.
Nope.